Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And yep, you read that title right. We are going to be talking about Hedera Hashgraph reaching $100 to even $500 plus at some point in time. And we're going to be talking about why I think that we could see these prices. Also, why I think that the overall value behind Hedera is kind of being locked down a little bit right now as they do march on in terms of innovation and development. So, with that being said, before we jump into this video fully, I just want to let you guys know that I do release products more and more on my website, NCashOfficial. You don't need to buy these. I'm just saying these will help you in the long run of things or get a better understanding of the market from my perspective. These are my strategies. Now, nothing on here is financial advice at all, but if you guys do basically want to get a little bit of a better insight on what I'm going to be doing with a lot of my assets, or whatever the case may be, here is that website for you guys. The links will be down in the description below as well as in the comments below. Now, with that being said, let's actually refresh the market. Let's see what's happening. So currently we are down about 3%. The market looks like it's a little bit shifted overall. Nothing too crazy is happening. We do see Cardano, we see XRP, Solana, all the major assets all moving down in price. Polkadot down 8.62%. It's fluctuating here a bit. Luna's down 10%. Most assets are down a little bit. Nothing too crazy overall. Slight pullback. HBAR is sitting around 41 cents, around 10.94% down, a little bit around that 10% down. Anyways, in regards to the percentages, doesn't really matter. Today we're going to be talking about two specific assets. We're going to be talking about HBAR and Ethereum. I don't really care about ADA because their smart contracts is, we already know what's happening with that. So we're going to be talking about Ethereum because Ethereum already has the smart contracts already released on their platform. They've been released for a very long time. It's the major pretty much fluctuation in terms of its price chart. I mean, we already see that it hit $1,000 in 2017, 2018, even going back to 2017 early, it hit about $433, and now we know that it already hit $4,000 plus. So when we talk about these major price targets for Ethereum or HBAR, whatever the case may be, we obviously have to talk about the one thing that's really providing value to Ethereum, and that is the overall smart contracts, the dApps, and all that kind of stuff that is built on Ethereum, as well as the companies that work within Ethereum that we already know. Most of them, or I should say some of them, are moving from Ethereum over to Hedera Hashgraph for efficiency, scaling, all that kind of stuff, all that good stuff. And that is because when we talk about the average fee cost, there's companies that built on Ethereum for non-profit, and here they are paying $50 to $100 plus fees, and we just can't have that. So when we talk about smart contracts are huge. And I actually tweeted out yesterday. Now this goes hand in hand with this article that got released yesterday during the news for Hedera, but I said HBAR with Smart Contracts 2.0, it will reinvent the game entirely. Developers will be moving from Ethereum and Cardano to focus their time somewhere much better. Extremely fast, low cost, and now with the industry standard Solidity, there is no stopping HBAR. HBAR is now enabling new use cases through this technology that has the potential to unlock trillions in revenue and immense amounts of transactions over the mainnet. As Hedera said themselves, Ethereum did $2.5 trillion in transactions in just Q2 of 2021 alone. Just imagine how big HBAR is going to be with the amount of scalability and the speeds that HBAR transacts at. If Ethereum did 1.25 trillion per quarter, I expect a massive price appreciation for HBAR very soon. And then I also quoted this, okay, and I said originally HBAR equals trillions of dollars in market cap value. Valuations for HBAR could be $100 plus per HBAR, and that's not even my high long-term targets. And when we talk about this, right, I don't say, a specific time zone on this. I don't. Because when we talk about HBAR for what it's worth, we don't know when all of this stuff is actually going to ramp up, but I just expect it at some point in time, at least by 2025, in my personal opinion. All right, and now within this, right, you could also read more about this, right? They're talking about the HTS, Hedera Token Service. As you guys already know, I've been talking about how massive it is, but we're talking about the fact that They're already saying that it's the most used sustainable enterprise-grade public network, which we already know. But when they're talking about upgrading the smart contract service, this is going to allow developers to harness that speed and scalability of the HTS for fungible and non-fungible tokens with the flexibility of fast, low fee, and industry standard solidity. And when we talk about that, right, a lot of people don't understand how big of a deal that is, because a lot of people who are investing in these tokens, and I don't mean it to be, disrespectful to those people or at all, but a lot of people are either not tech savvy in order to understand any of these terms or even to understand what's happening. But overall, smart contracts are very good for developers, and with more developers comes more dApps. With more dApps comes more use cases. A lot of developers that are actually working with Hedera, even now, even said that moved from Ethereum, said that it's so much easier to provide the use cases that they are trying to provide because of the low-cost fees. A lot of use cases that were actually on Ethereum at some point in time that had to close their doors were incredible use cases. It's just that it was way too expensive to actually develop it and fully have it live. Now, we even see here the upgrades will include integrating the Hyperledger Basu EVM and a unique virtual Merkle data structure to more efficiently manage state changes on the Hedera network, as well as creating new and highly performant databases for state storage. Now, they're even saying these will enable new use cases that have been too slow and expensive to function well on existing smart contract-based platforms. What do you think they're talking about? They're easily talking about Ethereum. Now, when we talk about this, this is the big key here. This is the big quote that stood out to me. Smart contract-driven applications today are powering an ecosystem of users, capital, and applications driving trillions of dollars in economic activity. In Q2 2021, Ethereum settled $2.5 trillion in transactions, but this is just the tip of the iceberg in the terms of the amount of commerce that can be pushed through EVM-based contracts if they can be made orders of magnitude faster and more scalable. And what do you think is the case with Hedera? We even see here, with these enhancements, we are enabling the large and growing ecosystem of hundreds of thousands of Solidity and Viper developers to make EVM contracts extremely fast and highly scalable. They're even saying here, since its launch in 2021 of February, the Hedera token service has seen broad adoption for use in applications leveraging both fungible and non-fungible tokens. HTS offers users the ability to issue and configure tokens on the Hedera platform, taking full advantage of Hedera Hashgraph's native performance, security, scalability, all that kind of stuff as well. Now, in regards to this, right? They're talking with the ability to scale thousands of transactions per second. When we talk about what's happening with HBAR compared to Ethereum, we already know that it's night and day. I've looked at this multiple times, and before people say that these transactions aren't, this is for smart contracts, smart contract transactions per second on Hedera is much lower. Listen, they even said up here, I think it was somewhere, it wasn't up here, but it was on one of their papers or on one of the pages here where they were saying that they don't need smart contracts in order to reach these transactions per second. But even in regards to smart contracts, they are still much faster, and they could scale a lot faster as well with higher transactions per second than what most people think, especially comparing it to even Cardano. And I honestly think at some point in time, even in regards to smart contracts right now, they're doing like 60 plus transactions per second plus, 100 plus at some point in time. But when we compare it to Ethereum's 12 plus transactions per second, we already know that it's night and day. And also, when we talk about the idea of what's going to flow over Hedera compared to Ethereum, Ethereum right now did like roughly 1 billion transactions or something like that. I forgot what the specific number is, but we already know Hedera already did almost 1.7 billion with 1.4 billion done in 1 year. Just think about how many transactions are going to flow over Hedera when they have a lot more developers working on dApps, releasing dApps. Also, when we talk about this, the use cases that will thrive from here because of how cheap it is to run on Hedera, that's going to provide immense value for HBAR entirely. Also, when we talk about this, right, they're talking about the fact that it's going to scale at these, hundreds of transactions per second with finality in seconds and low predictable fees. Developers will be able to also enable programmability of these tokens to enable DeFi and other applications which require payments based on certain actions being taken or conditions being met. Smart contracts only have to be called as needed, not during ordinary transfers, therefore, or thereby taking advantage of the native speed of HTS and offering the most flexible way to achieve programmability. So overall, this is telling us that they don't need to rely on the speed of smart contracts, which is like, the low tier transactions per second, which is like maybe 60 to 100, somewhere around there. But they could actually rely on the native speed, which is like the 10,000 plus transactions per second with sharding, being unlimited transactions per second. So overall, this is incredible. And of course, they provide us with a little quote from Dovu, talking about their proof of carbon, as well as, kind of working with Hedera and how incredible it's been. Overall, they even see here the new enhancements of Hedera smart contract service will ultimately enable Dovu to achieve our vision to evolve into a complete non-custodial solution for our farmers and land managers to provide or prove the ongoing storage of carbon. In other words, this has the potential to unlock the ability for Dovu to track decades worth of changes of carbon for a single project, whilst utilizing the security and native speed of Hedera Hashgraph without relying on any layer 2 network. So when we talk about what Hedera is going to be in the long term of things, you have to provide the immense value that HBAR is going to really provide for a lot of these companies, and also they are innovating pretty much every single day. They just did this. Sparkle leverages Hedera Hashgraph to launch digital e-receipt and universal digital coupon apps as well. So we see the innovation happening every single day. This is a huge piece of the pie, though. Because when we talk about what Hedera versus Ethereum would be worth, so Ethereum right now is worth at around $3,300 roughly, and if we look at what that would be in terms of HBAR, we're talking about $41.50, right? And I forgot what the all-time high for. All right, so let's see. It was roughly 4,179. So when we look at that compared to what is out there in the circulation for Ethereum, and we look at what that actually would be in terms of market cap, that's roughly $491 billion, right? So when we look at that, let's actually add that up. So we're just gonna say 491 billion, just to make things a little bit easier on us. But that would still be worth $50 at that pinpoint. But we also talk about the fact that at that point, we also see it basically being a blockchain killer. So we also see the fact that Hedera Hashgraph at some point in time will most likely be the #1 utilized asset in this space. But this is just off of smart contracts, right? We're not talking about how many transactions will actually flow over the network when unlimited transactions per second, which who knows when that's going to happen, because they did take sharding off of the roadmap, but I was expecting it in Q4, who knows? But this is an enterprise grade asset, and when we talk about the amount of use cases that are already working with Hedera, and we talk about the fact that a lot of these companies will be leveraging the smart contract basis as well. For example, Dovu's already pretty much leveraging it. We talk about how many billions to even trillions of transactions will flow over Hedera, resulting in a massive influx in value. I honestly see, and I know that this is going to, make a lot of people mad because they expect their other assets to be the #1, but I honestly expect Hedera Hashgraph, for what it's worth, to be the #1 asset in the space pretty much going forward, because they are already being the most utilized DLT out there, and they are already adopted by multiple, listen, it's countless individuals. Like, look at how many companies are already adopted into Hedera's mainnet, right? So when we talk about this, and we also talk about the fact that even when we talk about ETHPOS doing trillions of transactions a year, we also talk about the Coupon Bureau. They would be basically transacting billions of transactions a year as well. We also talk about AdStack's already doing 1 billion transactions in this year alone. The sky is the limit for Hedera Hashgraph. I really could not tell you guys that enough, especially when we talk about these smart contracts. This is groundbreaking technology, and this is exactly why I went in depth on this on Twitter. And when I say that we could hit $100 plus, I mean it, right? The amount of transactions that will flow over the Hedera mainnet alone in the first year, once this is fully live, once we see a lot more, corporations and companies leveraging this technology, I swear, I'm telling you guys, it's going to be absolutely groundbreaking. I'm telling you, when we look at the valuations for Hedera compared to even Bitcoin, right? We're seeing $92.59. That's actually not even at a $1 trillion market price. So when we actually don't compare it to anything, right? And say for so we just say, all right, what will Hedera Hashgraph be worth at a $2 trillion market cap? At $2 trillion, it would be worth $207. Even if we take into accountability, right, the 50 billion supply. So let's actually edit this and actually go to the total supply. Still at 2 trillion, we would be worth about $40. All right, but I see us easily being worth a $5 trillion plus market cap at some point in time, being worth $100 plus. But we already know that the total supply won't even be in circulation by I think it was like 2025 or 2035, I think they said is when the total supply will be actually out there. But even in that case, right, we see Hedera already building up to what it's supposed to be. The potential that just got unlocked through this innovation here is going to be groundbreaking for this entire space and for Hedera Hashgraph for what it's worth. I know that a lot of people don't like me to say that Hedera Hashgraph is an Ethereum killer, this killer, whatever, but at the end of the day, they are an Ethereum killer. They actually are the Ethereum killer at the end of the day because they already are grasping most of the companies that already were building on Ethereum. And you cannot disregard the fact that when you are a big corporation, when you are a big company, and you want to build on something like Hedera or Ethereum, and you compare the transactional fees to the speed and efficiency, which one do you honestly think that you are going to choose? It's Hedera. So when we talk about $100 plus evaluation, a lot of people can't see that because we are still very early in terms of Hedera's overall, dominancy factors, but they're in multiple sectors. They are the enterprise grade choice. That is exactly why they were made. They are building with enterprises, and enterprises are choosing them because of their efficiency, low cost fees, and their scalability factors. Don't disregard their GC members at all because listen, they have these big names on the GC members because of what's to come. Why do you think that a lot of these, universities that are joining the GC, why do you think that they are studying DLT technology as well? Distributed ledger technology is going to be a huge key player in the future of everything in regards to fintech, in regards to transactional fees, transactions alone. When we talk about banking as well, we talk about utilities in terms of power, all that kind of stuff. DLTs are going to be the main source of the bread and butter, and guess who is the most utilized and most efficient DLT out there? Hedera Hashgraph. So when we talk about what I'm going to be doing with my Hedera Hashgraph, this is a long-term hold for me. Obviously, I will continue to accumulate as much as I possibly can during the bear market, even during the topping point of the bull market. But listen, I'm just saying it right now. Hedera Hashgraph is a gem in the making. I could see this easily being worth $100 plus, even at the high end being worth $500 plus as well. So listen, HBAR, for what it is worth, is going to continue to appreciate in price. We could expect $1,000 HBAR sometime in the future, long term. We're talking about 20, 30 plus, probably at $1,000 plus evaluation because of what they are doing. The amount of transactional volume is going to flow over HBAR is going to be absolutely mind-blowing. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on. If you guys want more free content, you guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. Thank you all for watching. I do greatly appreciate it. I hope that you all have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out.